Hello there, and welcome
Hello.
back, or welcome to the first time to AIMBOT. Am I morally bankrupt or them, where we are looking at situations on the internet and judging them for their moral integrity or their immoral integrity. It is New Year's Day here. So Happy New Year. Happy New
Happy New
Year. And
Year.
joining me is my wonderful wife, Lynn. So how are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm very, very neutral about this year. I have
Very
a
neutral. Yes, that's
yes,
fair.
very
That's fair.
neutral stance.
Well, it's been good so far. The only thing that's
Mm.
happened this year is that I've gotten a coffee and
hmm
really woken up. So it's been a mixed year for me so far.
Yeah, I can
Um,
imagine.
but we are coming from the future, so
hmm
I think it's been a good year so far. I think.
hmm
I think.
hmm
Do you have any like New Year's resolutions? Do you do that at all?
I don't really do that because I think you're either going to
That's
do the
fair.
thing or you're not going to do the thing.
Yeah, irrelevant of your whether you actually
Yeah.
decide to do it
Yeah.
or not. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I gotcha. But yeah, I think that I think that sort of it's weird to have one sort of time arbitrarily in the year because it's really an
Mm.
arbitrary point,
Right.
really. I
Yeah.
don't know
This.
why New Year's is on that day, particularly. It doesn't seem to be a solstice or an equinox or
No.
anything like it. It's just, does anybody know why New Year is on that day?
Is it we use the Gregorian calendar, don't we? Or we
Yeah?
don't use the Julian.
Was it like St. Gregory's birthday or something?
I,
Is that
I
what
have
you're
no
saying?
idea. No, I don't. Our calendar, I think, doesn't have an equal amount of days in every month, so they had to do something.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh, bless you. Okay. Okay. Just consulting Google, this date was chosen in honor of Janus, the Roman god of
That's
beginnings,
right.
endings, and transitions, symbolizing both reflection on the past and anticipation of the future. As Caesar's calendar reform and spread throughout the Roman Empire,
Because they
January
got.
1st
hmm
became widely accepted as the
hmm
start of the year. Happy
Because
New Year,
Janus has two
everybody.
heads.
Yes. Yes, that's
Now I
the
remember.
double-headed one. Beginnings and
Mm.
endings. Okay, so next time a Christian says, "Hey, Christianity is true because Christmas or the AD thing," you can say, "Yeah, well, I
hmm
mean, New Year is a celebration to Janus, so obviously, you know,
hmm
uh, Janus is a thing."
Right.
Okay, that's such an arbitrary thing. Okay, well, I
Yeah.
mean, there we go. Yeah, Google does back you up. There you go. There you go. Oh, and Deviant saying Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Pancakes, ice cream, and blueberry and raspberry jam, and watch some
Oh my
Northern Lights with soot.
god.
Yeah,
That sounds
that
really
sounds
good.
awesome.
Pancakes and ice
Not two heads, two faces.
cream. Two faces,
One on the
yes,
front and one on the
correct.
back.
Yeah.
Nitpicky, but look, you are
No,
technically correct,
yeah,
which is
they
the
know you
best
got that.
kind of
That's
correct.
yeah, one head with two
Yeah.
faces.
Well, maybe we should get into it. I know that
Okay.
I'm feeling a little bit sleep deprived, and so are you. So it
I
may
know.
not be a long stream, but we'll see how we
hmm
go. See if
Yeah.
they're good or not. Because
Mm.
just for if you haven't joined us before, we don't curate these. We don't read them beforehand and get some snappy responses, even though it may seem that way. Um, we just take them as they come, get them off the Reddit Am I the Arsehole forum. And always, when you are judging people, make sure it is consensual and solicited judgment. So,
Mm.
make sure that they actually are asking to be
Yeah.
judged or it is your authority to be judged.
hmm
So, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Greek/Roman god?
I think Greek was Amalthea, or is she
Amalthea?
Roman?
I
Can't
don't know.
remember if she's Amalthea or Greek or.
Is Amalthea a god or is that just a
I
um
thought she was
I
like
don't think she was a god. I think
a
she was she was a nymph that was
nymph.
the
Yeah.
foster mother of Zeus. So
I guess I think
technically
Athena or something. I guess I
I
don't.
would go for Athena. I think Athena is awesome and hot, except when she lost it and turned that girl into a spider, Arachne into a spider. That was kind of terrible. But hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Okay.
yeah, I'm on board with Athena. I really am. Yeah. Wasn't that the name of the last unicorn? Left-handed Jedi knows what's up.
Correct.
There you go.
But I
Lynn
found
is
out
a
after
massive
the fact
fan.
that I didn't know Amalthea was like I thought it was just a name the author made up. I didn't find out till much later that who Amalthea was and why it made sense to call her Amalthea.
Yeah. Right. Why did it make sense to call her Amalthea?
Because she had the Horn of Plenty, so she had where the cornucopia comes
cornucopia?
from, and she got turned into like a goat or something. So because of the horn, they called her that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay, that does make sense. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You relate to Hephaestus. Hephaestus was Hephaestus was a cuck. You do know that, big bad mama. I'm really sorry. Yeah, he was the husband and sort of the metal worker of the gods. I think he made the thunderbolt, or was that the giant? I can't remember which, but yeah, he was a smith of the gods that sort of was married to Venus or Aphrodite. Right. And then Ares cheated on Aphrodite with Aphrodite on him, kind of thing. So great.
Yeah.
Yeah, good on you. Cuck of the gods. All right, there you go. There you go. Poor guy. I kind of feel sorry for him too, because I mean, Aphrodite was a big old ball of bitch. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, okay, so moving on. I could talk about Greek gods for ages, but True. So first off, we got, am I morally bankrupt for getting engaged after my brother's wedding? I don't know why you would be.
Timing,
because
probably.
Maybe. I don't understand. Like, don't people usually like go to weddings and, fall in love and propose at weddings and stuff? Isn't that a thing? I think that's a thing.
Become a thing, but people get funny about it because you might be taking. That's what I mean. Like, if you did it like after the actual ceremony, maybe that's bad. But if it was like days after, I wouldn't say it was bad.
Oh, so he proposed at the wedding and took all of the attention off. Well, maybe
if that's the case, then maybe. But if it was like a week later, I'd be like, I don't understand that.
Well, if you made a big scene out of it, I could understand why. If you just proposed there and then, and like, here's the thing, like, I don't understand people that have to propose and make it like a massive deal kind of thing. Like, I just don't understand that. You're asking one person, not the world. I don't.
It's very expectant to. It puts people on the spot. That's why I don't agree with it.
Okay, so edit, paraphrase some direct quotes and remove some potentially identifiable info. Don't dox your brother, bro. Come on now.
Bro. Come on, bro.
Bro. My brother and his wife got married 3 days ago. A very small destination ceremony, under 15 people total. It's totally fine. My now fiance and I extended our trip after everyone else went home and spent a couple of days exploring the Grand Canyon, a couple of hours north of the wedding where he proposed.
Okay.
So he proposed at the same place?
Yeah, but roughly the same area. Like
Right.
And they were on their own trip, so this isn't even part of the wedding. It's like she said she stayed and everyone else went home. So this doesn't have anything to do with the wedding anymore.
Wait, is it a he or a she? I don't know.
I don't know.
When I shared the news with my brother and now sister-in-law, he responded with hostility, saying that it looked like we were competing. What? Why?
Yeah,
what?
I don't know.
I apologized, quickly realizing that he was advocating for my sister-in-law and she felt hurt. although I'm truly failing to understand why. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I can't understand why
Yeah.
either.
Yep.
You can understand why? Okay.
No, I can't, because if she thinks that she's got like her honeymoon period and everything after the wedding is also the wedding, how is that taking attention off her? You're not at the wedding anymore.
Yeah, I don't
Why
understand
do you
this.
think it's this other guy's trying to one up you? Like, what's the mentality behind that?
I also texted her a separate apology and explained that it was not our intent to encroach and just wanted to share the news with family, and that it's my belief there's room for happiness for everyone. She did not respond. Wow, okay, that's harsh. In response to my apology, my brother doubled down and said the timing and location were hurtful and that we shouldn't planned around the wedding. Why not? If somebody got engaged on the back of my wedding, I'd be like, I am so happy for you, right? Like,
Yeah.
I might if they proposed in the middle of the wedding and used the wedding, but they didn't.
Yeah,
It had
no.
finished. It had wrapped up. I don't get this in the slightest.
And because if she's thinking, oh, well, all the pictures, if she's posting stuff on Facebook and still wants the attention, and then she's angry, someone else might start getting attention. Then she's like, and she's got an affection for the place that they got married, but the other person didn't know that. Like,
I'm sorry, does
people
she
don't know
own it?
that. Exactly. Do you own the Grand Canyon now?
Yeah.
Do you own that particular area?
That's like getting angry at someone honeymooning at Niagara Falls. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like it's a destination spot anyway. Like,
Posing at I don't even know, at brother's proposal spot. I mean, it wasn't even their spot. I just, you know, I don't know. It sounds like there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not just, hey, you proposed after my wedding. It's like, oh, well, you did it at the same place, and you know, you're doing it around the same time. And this whole thing about competing, I don't like. If there's anything that is sort of not a non-zero sum game, it's got to be love, right? Like, that's a non-zero sum. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm sorry, there's only so much love to go around, and if we have some and if you have some, we'll have ours taken away. That's not how it works.
Right. I don't.
My sister in Christ. Am I the one who okay, all right. Well, I'll start the poll and I'll go to the Reddit comments and just go through a couple.
Yep.
As we do here. Not the arsehole, and I can see you're valiantly trying to understand, but I'm not sure your brother or his wife would be able to give you a good reason for their reaction, because their reaction is wild. Sure, it's rude to propose at someone else's wedding. Yeah, yep, I agree.
Yeah.
But, well, you know what? If it's just like you bending the knee somewhere out in the grounds or something, you know, you're at a garden or something and you just propose. I get that. But like out in the middle of, you know, the reception. But that's not what happened. The fact that you and your fiance got engaged a few days after their wedding before you flew home is a totally different thing. Although the level of hostility in that message from your brother is nasty and definitely not normal. I'm so sorry he treats you like that. Wow, yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah,
not the asshole. Your brother needs to calm down. Yeah, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I still think the wife probably got under his skin about it. Like, I've got a funny feeling the brother probably didn't care. He's just more upset that the sister-in-law's upset than he is about. I think if she was cool with it, the brother probably wouldn't have said anything.
You're saying it's a Will Smith
she jaded him into having slapping her across via text.
Yeah, so his brother is the Chris Rock of this situation.
Right,
right. Not the arsehole. Your brother needs to calm the F down. The bride gets one day, her wedding day. Well, I'm not sure about that, champ, but yeah.
Well, after the ceremony, it doesn't get a location a week or anything else. She gets her wedding. That's all. You did not encroach. Once you've done the day, I don't think you'd get the week after or any other day after. It's your day. That's what, you get one day. And it didn't even happen on the day, so.
They own neither the weekend nor the state, not the arsenal. I'm petty, so I'd tell them I'm sorry. Their joy at wedding, the love of life is overpowered. Wow, what is this? I redneck debutante. You need to learn English. I'm petty, so I'd tell them I'm sorry. Their joy at wedding, the love of their life, is overpowered by jealousy of your engagement. Like, shouldn't they have more important shit going on? Yeah, probably.
You
Probably,
you would think so.
I don't know if my brother proposed and got married afterwards. I honestly would be really happy, and I'd be really happy that it was like they're on the trip that I contributed in some small way to their happiness. That's cool. I don't understand this at all. I'm absolutely bewildered.
Now, even if somebody did it at my wedding, I'm weird. I put a balloon like, oh, they're taking the attention away from me, but that's okay because I didn't want that much attention anyway. That'd be like a nice diversion for me to go. Yeah.
Right.
Be like, cool. It really wouldn't bother me. Plus, where we went is a really good place to propose.
Right.
And if they just snuck off and done it, I would have been totally fine.
Do you think that's the best wildflower garden in our state?
Well, Kings Park's supposed to be nice, but I've never been there.
That's true.
I thought Araluen was nice, but I've never done the botanical gardens at Kings Park, and they're like right around the corner from us, which is ridiculous.
Well, that's true. That's actually true.
And I've never seen the DNA tower, so there's big bits of Kings Park I've never seen, and it's supposed to be really pretty.
But in fairness, Kings Park would be a whole lot more expensive to get married at than Araluen.
Yeah. That totally would have been.
Hef had a hot wife, not gonna lie. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Unless you are dating your brother's wife. Yeah, unless you proposed to your brother's wife. Yeah, no, I would see how that would definitely make you the absolutely moral monster. No, I could see that.
Yeah. I don't think
there is likely to
wrong.
be. No, I don't think so either. There is likely a related AITA about some mum or dad being a diva at the wedding. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Iconocray, the most devout Catholics I know make a public spectacle of proposing. I personally find it somewhat revolting, but they're not proposing to me. Yeah, I don't understand that.
Catholic weddings have a lot of pomp and ceremony as well, from what I understand.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Am I the only one who read the girl code? I'm not sure what the girl code is. Oh, it's not done. Okay.
There's the unspoken law between women that you don't do, like, date a friend's boyfriend after they've broken up, or you don't, have a public proposal on their wedding day. It's like this unspoken list of things that you do not do to another girl, and if you do, you break the girl code.
I'm surprised the bride didn't try to kick her ass. Yeah, I really think Maya's just being cynical and sarcastic.
Yeah.
The whole day belongs to the bride. This is known. I am not co-signing for the week. Not unless it's my birthday. I own all the happiness.
Your birth week, yeah, that's different.
Is it allergy season in Australia? Unfortunately, every day is allergy season.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I'm very dusty around here too. I do apologize.
So, Lynn's allergic to dogs, cats, possibly herself. I think. What else are you allergic to? Flowers, happiness.
Specific flowers. Yeah, that too. Pollen, children,
religion.
Religion.
Yeah, allergic to all of those things. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. Some days are better than others.
Yeah.
Guys have a guy code, but it seems to be mostly no emotions, bro. That's not true. That's not true. That's an absolute lie. That's not true. You just the bro code says you don't tell people about them. That's all.
Right.
That's every day is allergy season. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
for some of us. Yeah.
It's fine. We'll snuffle our way through it. It's fine. Well, I don't, except for Maya, who seems for some reason incredibly outraged about this. I don't think anyone thinks they've done anything wrong. And I am honestly, usually I do try to see both sides pretty well, but I am honestly wondering what the hell the problem is, kind of thing. Like I'm just thinking of any other circumstances where that would be unacceptable. And there doesn't seem to be anything I can add to the situation that is unacceptable, like
Right. Yeah. All I can think is what's happened is she's probably still posting pictures on Facebook or something. Like she's still sharing it and sort of and then if someone else in her feed comes along and says, "Oh, we're engaged," she hasn't finished getting the attention that she needed from the situation. So if she hasn't sort of finished basking in some kind of attention, and then they've come along and decided, and then that distracts everybody to go, "Oh, congratulations," to the other person, and she's like, in her head, she's like, "Well, I'm not finished, getting the
this is
attention
why
I
I
need."
avoid social media. I'm
Right.
bewildered by all of this. Like I just don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It's silly.
yeah, I don't understand. And the people have decided the poster did nothing wrong. I absolutely agree. I don't, it's kind of like that thing where I mean, all the time people put schedule stuff, other YouTubers schedule stuff on days you're doing stuff. It happens, like these things happen.
Right.
It's kind of like that. Well, you just found a guy, shared a relationship for a while, and then proposed just so you could undermine me, kind of thing. I don't
Right.
think that's the case. Like
That's in their head. That's
I
basically
know
what goes on in their head, which is sad because if you're that egotistical and think everyone's trying to take
Victoria,
attention.
that is a vile accuracy. You stop right there. It's not social media anyway. Like it's not. And plus, I'm judging it. I'm not on it. So,
Does YouTube count as social media? I thought that was in a different.
don't know. I don't
No,
know.
it's okay.
Parasocial media, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is 2025 here, BS Lewis. It definitely is, and it's quite a nice year so
We
far.
made it.
It's been great this far. So if we are in the future, so if you are wondering what the year's going to be like, it started well, but we'll see how it goes. It's very early on. It's meta social media. Yeah. Do you want to grab the next one, which is Throw Reguava 6272? Am I the arsehole for not allowing my mum to stay another week after her pipes burst just before Christmas? Have we done this one before?
I don't think so. Maybe you did.
I don't think so either. No, I don't. It's from 7 days ago, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't know why they're all from 7 days ago. Maybe they said up the top. Maybe they shut down for a week, or people stopped posting for a week. It's a long time.
I think that if your mum's staying over and there's no extraneous reason why she can't stay longer, and her pipes burst, I feel like you are a bit of an arsehole if you go, "Hey, no, I'm not letting you stay any longer, because you've had this emergency." And yeah, I don't know.
Okay. 38F, I am celebrating Christmas with my mother. 68F, my brother. 47M, and his family. My mum flew in from out of state, and we're driving to a meetup location to spend time with my brother's family, a place in the mountains we all enjoy just for the holidays. All of us live hours away, our mum being the furthest on the opposite coast. My brother and I are several hours away by car. This year we received the bad news that while my mum had been at my place, her pipes froze and flooded her basement. She was upset, understandably. I helped her get everything started and have her insurance, a clean-up team and a general contractor all working on her place while she's with me. She then broached the topic that she wanted to extend her week to stay 2 weeks or more. I said, no, I need to get back to my regular routine and get ready to return to work. She's welcome to stay here as originally planned, which is until Saturday. Then she said she may ask to ride back with my brother and his family to their home in another state opposite direction of me. She refused to ask him until Christmas. Sounds familiar. So I gave my brother a heads up last night so he has a chance to speak with his wife. I also told him that he's under no obligation to say yes. She is still welcome to stay with me until Saturday, and her insurance company will be footing the bill for most of her stay at the hotel and meals. Big if her residence is uninhabitable, which we don't know at this time. Okay, so that's a factor. He told me he didn't have room to take her back with him, 3 people in his car, and there's no room for a fourth, assuming luggage is the issue. That I should let her stay with me because she's lonely. I told him I understood that, but I'm not wrong for wanting to cap my time with her at the 1 week originally planned. He had left the text on send. My mum can be challenging personality, and this unfortunate development, she's even more difficult. I love my mum, but I'm tired. I want my house back, and I don't want to be criticised and complained at. I refuse to allow my lonely mother to extend her stay with me, despite the recent damages to unknown state of her home. Am I the asshole for prioritising my space and personal downtime over my mother's emotional needs?
Mm.
I have to watch what I say in these circumstances.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that, I mean, that's a boundary she's got. She's certainly allowed to do that, sure. And it's not like your mother doesn't have anywhere to stay. I
Right.
don't know. I don't think so. I think that if she's really draining you, I get that. Like,
Yeah.
parents can really drain you.
Right.
I like, so the first thing that occurs to me, that jumps out at me, is why are you allowing in your house to criticize and, you know, complain at? Why are you allowing that in the first place?
I don't
I
know.
don't understand.
Yeah, it's
Like,
unless it's because it's a parent thing, even in your house, you don't want to disrespect
yeah, no,
your
I
parent.
totally
Yeah.
get that. But, you know, if they're complaining, they can go somewhere else. Like, that's sort of, you know, that kind of thing is it's rough to be able to listen to all the time, you know, like, not live up
Yeah.
to somebody's expectations all the time. I get that. But,
Right.
you know,
And if she's the
the
type of mum that's messes with things while she's there or nitpicks or
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think as, you know, if you allow that, they're gonna do more of it. You know, it's gonna be
Right.
this repetitive behavior that's just gonna get worse and worse. I really think that if you've got a boundary on sort of, you know, your mother giving you criticism, you really have to enforce it.
Right.
But it doesn't sound like she's out on the street or anything. It sounds like she's just, um, you know, because it says um, the hotel insurance company will be footing the bill for most of her stay at a hotel and meals. So it doesn't seem like it's just that she wants someone to be around. And if that
Yeah.
comprises of criticizing and complaining at this poor woman, I really understand why she doesn't want her with her. I mean, I was sort of assuming that she had nowhere else to go, but that's not the case.
No. They don't know what I think it sounds like she just doesn't want to go home and deal with this situation. I don't even know how they found out that the basement got flooded if she wasn't there. Like, I don't know how that happened.
Uh,
Unless somebody was like
I,
house sitting and said, I don't know.
we received the bad news that while mum has been at my place, her pipes froze and flooded her basement. Maybe a neighbor or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I actually think this is quite healthy, not to sort of, you know, be forced into doing something you don't want to do.
Right. Because it's just because it's your mother. But this is where people sort of say,
Yeah.
but she's the mother, why can't you? She would have, like, this is where they start using that logic of, well, she'd do the same for you, which you don't even know.
Well, I mean, if she like was out on, she had nowhere else to go, I totally understand why
Right.
you'd be an asshole. But I mean, a stay in a hotel is hardly, like living out on the street or something. Come on, it's not that bad.
Right. I'd be, yeah. I would be like, okay, well, if we don't know if the insurance has to wait to kick in and then you get a hotel room, I'd foot the bill for a hotel for her. Like maybe just as a
Right.
compromise. Look, like just stay here until we know.
Mm.
And that
Mm.
might just be she doesn't want to be on her own, and that's why she's.
Yeah.
But she's not saying, she's just sort of skirting around the reason she needs to stay.
Hmm.
And then she's thinking, well, if the brother, if you won't, then the brother will, and of course the brother doesn't. It's all very impractical for everybody.
Yeah, I sometimes think like that parents, they sort of go, "Oh, my kids don't want to see me a lot," and some parents, I'm not saying all, but some parents, they should really look at their own behavior when they're with their kids, how much they
Yeah.
criticize, how much they exhaust them, how much what they
Right.
say to them.
Right.
Because if you're just making things hard for your child, of course
Yeah.
they're not going to want to see you. If you're
Right.
judging your child and making them feel like crap, of
Yeah.
course they won't want to see you. What
Or
do,
if
what
they
do you expect?
Yeah. That's just when you don't trust that they're going to behave a certain way in a certain circumstance, it's very hard to judge having them in your company because you don't have a lot of control over that.
Not the asshole, but this is tough. It's not like you owe her a place to stay, especially when insurance will pay. But I don't think I could tell my mum to go stay at a hotel during the holidays. So, I think that people's relationship with their parents are different. There's certainly a limit I could put up with my mother. Definitely, there was a limit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And to be
I
fair, it gets shorter and shorter as time goes on.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Elsie says, not the arsehole. Doesn't she need to get back home to deal with her home and belongings?
Right. Like it
I,
sounds like she's
I
avoiding
have
that.
no idea.
Yeah. It sounds
Maybe.
like I would rather
Maybe.
go back and figure out what was going on. It sounds like she doesn't want to go
Right.
back and face it at all. It's like we're going to have to
Right.
eventually.
Um,
And I don't know if a
I,
flooded basement makes your entire house unlivable in. Like I don't understand that. I don't know anything about flooded
maybe.
basements.
No, neither do I. Neither do I. I have no idea because we don't have basements here.
Right.
Which, yeah. Not the arsehole. You've already done a lot by coordinating the cleanup and repairs from afar and offering your place till Saturday. Setting boundaries is crucial. Agreed, especially when it involves switching back to work mode. It's not just about the space, but about getting your head ready for the regular grind, right? Plus, your bro is getting a heads up is fair play. It's good to let him work it out with his wife without springing surprises. Mum's situation sucks, but you need to protect your mental peace too. Hang in there. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. That you can't compromise too much. Now, apparently, a
Yeah.
flooded basement makes your house unsafe because of structural damage, electric shock, contaminated water, mold, carbon monoxide poisoning, insects, and okay, so you can't just live in a house with a flooded basement. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Not the arsehole. I can understand your hesitation where there isn't an end date and she has a difficult personality. At the same time, it can be made more time limited. It would be kind to have some flexibility. I can understand her not wanting to be alone. Look, no one wants to be alone. I get that. But if you are infringing on people's boundaries because you are lonely, it's not going to end well. They're just going to end up resenting you.
Right.
It is not going to end well.
No,
It
especially if
really
you're not
isn't.
saying that out loud. Like,
yeah.
Not the arsehole, but I think you should take it on the chin because if you want to keep talking to your mum, you'll probably never hear the end of this. Otherwise, it's a lightning strike situation. There's a good reason she can't go home. That is unlikely to ever occur again. Okay. I don't know. I don't know whether that's like a
Yeah.
one-off situation.
Maybe. I mean, this is the thing about these situations where things flood or something breaks or your house falls down on your head. Yeah, each situation is a one-off, but you will have multiple instances of these situations happen in your life. If there's anything I learned, the only thing you can rely on in life is unreliability. Like that's the only thing you can rely on, is things to be unreliable. I don't think it is a one-off thing. I really don't. Yeah, and I mean, the way that she said difficult, there's difficult and then there's difficult, and if somebody was constantly nitpicking on me, I would not be happy. I would not be happy as well. So I'm going to go for not morally bankrupt. I think they're okay. I think it's sort of, it's not moral. I don't think it is what they ought to do, but I don't think, I think it's sort of neutral, as in amoral, like it's just sort of, well, it is what it is kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where like you do feel compromised, and it is that's very
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I've had in situations where people kind of just assumed they'd be okay to do something and they didn't ask me until the last minute. And that's what it kind of feels like, that she's sort of gonna to ask the brother. She just wasn't going to say anything until he was in a situation where he couldn't say no. Like, I don't understand why she just didn't ask.
No idea. It sounds manipulative, springing him on the last minute, to sort of take her home. It does.
Yeah.
Maya, I'm so sorry. Like,
I know.
seriously,
Yeah, we feel for you.
I was given by Titan, the Titan Uranus, the Gates report, the Matt Gates report, and that was a shocker. That was an absolute shocker. And the fact that the Republicans didn't want to release that report when clearly crimes were committed is even a bigger shocker. And even the bigger shocker still is that the man who claims to be an excellent judge of character, who is your new president, wanted to put that guy in as Attorney General. That is not a good judge of character, quite frankly. No. The insurance should pay for alternative living expenses. Yeah, then they are, Phantom, apparently. Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, provided the house can't be lived in,
Right. But I know that insurance in America is a bit dodgy at the moment. If there's one thing I've learned, it is a bit cutthroat. So I don't know how that works. Joe says, if she's getting her hotel and meals paid for, she doesn't need a place to stay. If the insurance won't pay for it, it's because the house is habitable, which means there's no reason she needs a place. Right. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the fact that you're not like going to check if it's okay. Like, you're just assuming that. The first thing I would want to leave. That's me. If I'd heard something had happened to the house, I wouldn't want to stay. I'd want to go back and find out what the hell was going on.
Absolutely. Yeah, same here, actually, now that you mention it.
I just couldn't sit and just stew on that, and like, if we'd had a fire here or something, we would just leave and come back, like.
Well, I mean, I don't know, the basement's flooded kind of thing. I presume I'd have stuff that I care about in the basement. I'd want to sort out what I can recover and what I can't.
Yeah. And what damage has actually been done.
Yeah. Majestic Beck says, no swingers party while mum's in town. Yeah, well, I'm not judging. That's fine.
Yep.
And Maya says, this is why I routinely cuss my parents off. They always stay in a hotel when they visit. You cuss everybody off. So, I mean, yeah. Deviant Outcast says, holding your boundaries is hard for a lot of people, especially so with parents. Poster is right and shows strength by keeping her boundaries. I kind of do agree with that. Like, I don't think you should make exceptions to those boundaries which you really cannot budge on. Making exceptions to even family is a really bad idea.
Right.
Really bad idea. Sewage. Oh, sewage is a problem. Yeah, gotcha.
Mm.
Deviant says, if the situation was such that the mum need had sleep under a bridge, yeah, then a couple of follow-up questions will be needed. But as it is, yeah, I
Right.
kind of agree. Deviant.
Yeah, if it were completely dire and she had absolutely no other option, like that's, yeah, of course, you wouldn't question it that way.
Maya says, I told my kids any house they buy must have an in-law suite. They're my retirement plan. No boundaries allowed. Yeah, no. See, the mistake you're making there is assuming that your kids can afford a house. You know, that's the big mistake you're doing there. Maybe she should go home and make sure the emergency plumbers didn't break or steal anything. Well, I don't know about
Right.
steal, but break, yeah.
Yeah.
Just make sure that the water didn't damage your vinyl collection or whatever you've got in the basement there. I don't know what people keep in basements.
Right.
Look, Robin, seriously, stop going to PVG. They've done a they've censored me. They've said, "Oh, we're not engaging with Mark Reed ever again," and we call on all Christians to not talk to Mark Reed. It's the best day of my life, quite frankly. Those guys are terrible. There's a bunch called the Proverbs guys. So
that's
they're a
right.
bunch
Yeah.
of no, they're just as intellectually creative as they sound. They don't. They basically they got angry at my Hoven thumbnail and said
Oh,
not
yeah.
engaged with, like, called on everybody to blacklist me, which is just hilarious because there's 5 people I will not miss, to be honest with you. Like, they're
Right.
awful. So look, I think that I think that those guys, they just get all they've got is drama. Like, seriously, all they've got is drama and fighting and calling people this and doing, it's just sad, really.
It sounds very
It's just sad.
childish.
It is, yeah.
Mm.
My mum stays with me all the time. Then again, she's dead, so I should clarify. I have her ashes. I don't have her corpse. I'm glad you said that. I really am. I think I missed one here. Oh, yeah, I kind of great. My mother would be welcome to stay in my house for a couple of years, and I've only moved in yesterday. Then again, my mother is objectively the best mother in history. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
If you have a good,
look,
yeah.
No one's saying that you can't let her stay. This isn't that. It's saying, yeah.
We can't even. We don't even have the room. But my mum wouldn't assume she'd stay. She'd rather stay at where she stays, so she comes up every week and stays in it, like a service department. We kind of bought a place that isn't great for guests, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's not completely
it's
ideal.
terrible for guests. Yeah. It's really it's really perfect for us, though. So
that's the main thing.
Look, I didn't buy my place with guests in mind. I'm really sorry. In fact, I bought the place with preventing guests in mind, quite frankly.
Yes.
So that is really where I'm at on that one.
What did the poll say? Have we left it up?
A bullet there, didn't you, Mark? Yeah. Al. Don't worry about them, Robin. They're terrible people, all of them. Seriously. And yes, so that's kind of the problem. They see sort of they see Hovend as the second coming of Jesus. So when you put Hovend on a cross and laugh at him, they get very, 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 very mad. Big mad, in fact. Big mad. Oh, I guess it's my thing. And let's see how the my poll came out. Gotta love a poll. Post did nothing wrong for the win. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Really, I kind of create Hovend as a poor measure. It's the wish Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
Um,
Wish.com, Joseph Smith, yeah.
okay, so am I the asshole for writing my siblings out of my will? No,
No.
no. I don't think you can really get upset at the will saying anything at all. It's somebody's
No.
last wishes. I don't know how you would go about not respecting that. Right? Is it
Yeah.
just me or?
No, apparently some people take huge offense.
Which is odd. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I can understand it sometimes, like, you know, your sibling isn't even around and they get the majority of the will kind of thing, or they did nothing at all kind of thing. I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, their last wishes is their last wishes. You know, that is what it is. For context, my brother, 30 male, and sister, 25 female, have lived very far from me for a long period of time for me, going on over a decade now. Yeah, that's a significant amount of time. That's like, you know, an eighth of your life on average. So yeah, that is definitely a significant amount of time. They never bothered to include me as a sibling growing up, and I've continued the tradition and have continued the tradition to adulthood. Contact is sparse at best and only when initiated by a mutual third party, never voluntary on their end, and all attempts from me are ignored. I have received a medical diagnosis that isn't looking good, and I wanted to ensure that, should the worst come, my affairs would be in order over the next few years. I've updated my living will recently. Family doesn't know I have one, and struck them from it, barring them from receiving anything. Instead, leaving assets to my parents with the instructions on their provisioning. So I presume this person doesn't have children
Right.
because they're leaving it to the you know.
Parents.
Okay, so you don't have a close relationship with your siblings and you don't want them in your will. I don't see anything that's immoral about that at all. That's your choice, your decision. Friends have told me that I'm being harsh and I should include them, but I hardly know them anymore, and any interactions have likely been negative over the past 10 to 15 years. I could care less. No.
I know.
Okay, people. Stop saying I could care less. Okay, so when you say I could care less, it means I definitely do care. And if you couldn't care less, it means that you literally cannot, you know, there is no way you could care any less than as you do at the moment, which means that you care zero. If you're saying you could care less, it means you must you must care at least a little bit, because there is a section that you could care less. Stop.
Oh, no, that's a common one.
I couldn't care less what happens after I'm gone, but I don't want what I worked hard for to go to them.
Yep, no,
I don't.
You don't even owe your friends that justification. Like, it's none of your friends' business that this is, again, this is the family thing.
Like, did you share your will with any of your friends?
Maybe they mentioned it or something.
Maybe.
Yeah. But again, it's not their business really what their opinion means. This notion of what their family, so you should just make exceptions for the fact they don't pay attention to you and are entitled to everything. Like, maybe the siblings have enough money. Maybe we don't even know what their situation is. Like, you don't just give people money if you don't get along with them. I think there's this idea that if someone has a will, everyone's got some sort of entitlement in the family to it. And it must be that they've got a substantial amount to protect. Because if it was just like a tiny amount, like, I wouldn't even. So it sounds like they're trying to protect a substantial amount of finances, but they don't have a relationship with the siblings. So why would you let them have all that if you don't even, if you're left out, if you're feeling left out of the whole thing?
I don't even, like, some people get angry that they leave it to the cat and stuff like. I don't like, whoever they decide to leave it to is who they decide to leave it to. It's really weird to sort of, you know, say that you love the person, but you're not going to honor what they wanted to do with their estate. It's very, very strange to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd do that. Very, very strange.
Well, the bot's like their blood family. So this notion that they're related to you makes the exception to the rule. Like you could have just. But if you had gotten married, wouldn't it just go to the spouse? Or if you had kids, wouldn't it, like, nobody would question you giving it all to your children? But if it sounds like this person's got no kids, they're like, well, you have to give it to the siblings if that's the case. No, you don't.
Well, it sounds like they're inserting their relationship with their siblings into this.
Right.
We kind of talk about family as people that act like family. And if your siblings aren't acting like family, then why should you treat them as family? And I really do believe that. If your family's not going to act like it, then why should you be treating them like family by, including them in your will, and they're not treating you like family by, at least talking to you, kind of thing? Like, I don't see why it seems to be a really unfair sort of reciprocity equation here.
Like it's just a given.
Right, and I've seen it before. I've seen, people really ignore somebody when they're, having a hard time. Maybe they're having mental health issues, they're, struggling or whatever, and their siblings ignore them. But then when they get in trouble, they're like, but I'm your brother or your sister. And it's like, yeah, but when I needed you, you didn't act like it. So why should I, so I don't know.
Why does that get affected by this that, like, you've got these people aren't decent people, so if they weren't your family, you wouldn't be treating them with disrespect. So how does being family automatically gain you respect from everybody else in your family? Like, that you don't disrespect somebody and then just go, well, you can't be mad at me, I'm family. Like, you can't, I'm allowed to treat you however I want. I don't get that.
I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about that one. I just don't see why I should be able to tell. I think that if there's one thing that you should get control over is where your estate goes when you die.
Yep.
And I do not put oughts on where you decide your estate should go, kind of thing. I get that people try to. I just if that's your last will, that's your last will. It kind of reminds me of Gina. There was a mining mogul. What was his name? It was
Lane Hancock.
Lane Hancock, and he owned like all of these mines, incredibly rich. And his daughter was sort of estranged and, really horrible to him, really horrible to everybody, actually.
Right.
But he had like a live-in nurse he hooked up with and then married, kind of thing. And he kind of really seemed to love her.
Right.
And he gave all of his money to her, the live-in nurse, his wife. And his children challenged it, and they're nasty pieces of work. And they won. Yeah, they still are nasty pieces of work, in my opinion. And the children won, but for all the like, oh, she was just a money. She was just a gold digger or whatever.
Opportunist.
She seemed to really love him, and he seemed to really love her. So I don't think it's wrong.
Yeah, from what I understood, she was very kind to him, and he was just a cantankerous old bastard. But yeah, the kids obviously, like, I don't know much about the son, but Gina's the one that's predominantly benefited. Then has the audacity to tell everybody to work harder for her because she owns everything but does nothing. So she's just one of the biggest wastes of space we have in this country, and that's another topic.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Not the Lich Lord, okay? Not the Lich Lord. Says not the arsehole. It doesn't matter that they're blood related or related by law or whatever. Your property is your property, and you can do and give it to whomever you want to. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't matter what your feelings are on it. It's yours to do as you wish to. Your parents, okay, give it to your great granddaughter on her 9th birthday as you wish. If what you provided is all in the details and is true, then strike everybody out of the will if you wish. Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. if your cat is the most important person in your life, then you know
Mm-hmm.
you can give it to your cat. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Beth Sophia says, not the asshole. First off, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry you're so young and having to face this issue. How old is she? It is really sad. I mean, if your brother is 30 and your sister is 25, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you might be
wouldn't
sort
expect,
of somewhere in that age bracket.
yeah, maybe like 40 max. That is young to face something like that.
Right. And it's kind of sad that you don't have family to look out for you that would.
Right.
That they're
right.
more concerned about your possessions than they are about you. That says a lot. If that's the case.
There's a prenup, I don't understand.
Yeah, this one doesn't have many comments.
Just letting them know what you want to happen. Assure your friends that you're aware that your parents can do what they want to after they've filled the enforceable parts of a will, and know that other kids might get some benefit. You are just leaving it up.
You're just leaving it up to someone responsible. Yeah, because it could be that the siblings are irresponsible and they'll just take it and spend it on whatever, but the parents will do something with it. And that's the other thing is too, is that you've said this to your friends. Why aren't your friends worried about the fact that you're sick? Why? That doesn't, like, if everybody's more angry at you about how you've written your will than they are about you possibly dying in the next 12 months.
We don't know that, you know.
I know, it just seems to be, it's a weird thing to get angry over. Because we don't have kids, but we're splitting it amongst nieces and nephews if necessary.
Short post.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot of comments to this. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's only like 2 comments. I think it's been a bit of a dead week on this subreddit. Maybe this.
Well, people have been busy, in fairness.
Yeah,
you know, like
that's what it's been Christmas.
Yeah. Now that the flood of Christmas, am I the arsehole for wearing a turkey on my head kind of stuff is gone. Yeah, it kind of is it's a bit of slim pickings here, I must admit. Let's go.
Would I be the arsehole?
Says, can you put hits on people in your will? It might make the reading more exciting. Yeah, so can you imagine that reading, like you just greenlit your brother while he's sitting there? That's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
And what? So I'm just wondering exactly what you are suggesting here, Victoria. Just logistics wise, like, are you talking about you put a hit, like you get, you know, a professional hitman to attack the people that are at the reading of your will, or are you talking about like
just a general
2 siblings enter, 1 leaves kind of, and whoever shall, you know, defeat one another in single combat, or you know,
we'll get the spoils.
We'll get the right. So I'm really fascinated what the logistics of this are, Victoria. I really am. I quite frankly, I'm leaning towards the gladiatorial estate winnings from
the Thunderdome method.
Yeah, like just have a place with, you know, and to make it even more fun, have novelty weapons, like, you know, a sausage and a clown horn and stuff like that for even more entertainment.
Or make it like jelly wrestling or something really disgusting.
I suddenly have. There you go. I suddenly have this urge to change my will, quite frankly.
Right, just put crazy clauses.
Titan Uranus says, alternatively, we can make inheritance task 100% and end generational wealth, redistributing all wealth to everyone. So I think there are definite problems with the government taking people's wealth. If you're sitting there, the government's motivation to keep people alive would probably sharply drop, which I don't think is ever a good thing. Whether, if you're suggesting, well, it goes automatically to charities and things, that definitely might be something. Or like you have to have your will nominate charities for it to go to. there are problems there too, because all of the Christians will donate to the Christian church, you know, like it. So there's problems there as well. I have thought about this. I don't know. So whenever you have somebody redistributing wealth, you have the problem of corruption in that redistribution. Because if you think about it, communism is exactly that. It's the redistribution of wealth to the people. But what happens, or what seems to happen without fail, is the Communist Party redistributes the wealth to themselves.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and that's where the corruption of communism comes, that the Communist Party becomes the one with all the resources.
Right.
So whoever is deciding where the wealth goes is going to be the one to somehow inexplicably end up with all the wealth. So I don't disagree with you. I just would like to know a way we could do that. If I was that wealthy, I'd set up a trust instead of a will. You can't fight a trust. That is true. Yeah, no, Jedi, that might be a really good idea. I mean, you can fight a trust. It's just a lot harder because they're actively fighting against you. Iconocrate says, not in my country, illegal actions cannot be binding parts of contract by extension last will. Yeah, I don't think Victoria was the really being serious, but that's crazy. In the US, the wife gets first dibs on the estate. It depends on the will, Maya. It really depends on the will. If there's no will, absolutely.
Yeah,
she's right. If the event is like, that's same with Australia. If you don't have a will, your spouse will absolutely be the priority.
Yeah, because there's insurance policies where you, like your death insurance and stuff, where you have to have a beneficiary as well, which is kind of separate to that. So
if there is a prenup, they can't fight it. Well, that's not entirely true. Some prenups aren't worth that much legally, kind of thing. It all gets very complicated. Spouse gets no less than half of it unless there's a will stating otherwise. Yeah, I agree. Titan says, where I am my father. What? Where I am my father not only didn't leave anything to any member of the family, he kept it secret and no challenger could inherit even if they won. Interesting.
Wow. But that's the thing, like the money just sits there then. Like it just, nothing. I don't even know what happens if you can't distribute someone's estate. I don't know what
I don't think you can strike one's own children from a will under Dutch law, though. They have a special status and they'll always get something. Look, I don't know how much something is, but, you know, if your kid is that much of a craphead, then, you know, I don't see why you shouldn't be able to, like, seriously.
No idea.
Yeah, and you know, we're not experts as well, I get you.
We heard all sorts of things. We've been going through stuff like that. Like everybody has a different idea of how these things work. And it's like, my advice is always talk to a lawyer. Like just get advice from some kind of free legal service, or call, you know, the estate planner. Like if they've given it to an estate planner, the estate planner will tell you what's going to happen end of the day. Like, because you hear all sorts of things when stuff goes missing. It's like, well, if your person who has passed away has given it to a professional, you talk to that professional about it. And then if you don't like what the professional is saying, then yeah, maybe you have to get a lawyer. But I don't know how far you get with that.
Hire someone to hold a pen laser. So necromongerers, do you get the reference here? I mean, it's necromonger, like a warmonger, I think. But this is from Chronicles of Riddick, I think. The necromongers were like the enemy that I think you keep. What is it? You keep what you kill, kind of thing. Is that have I got that right? That's what you're referencing. Which, yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah. Novelty weapon. Oh, Majestic wants to get medieval on us. Swords, hammers, and morning stars. Okay, well, wow. Maya says billionaires own the government. Pretty sure it would just redistribute it to the rich. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure all of these people have it that it either goes to the kids or the company or charities maybe, but I that's the problem, is that the people that are going to suffer most is the fact is we already have a lopsided economy where too many people are hoarding wealth, and of course all that wealth is just going to go to more rich people. It's never going to trickle down, so to speak. It's never going to become part of the system unless we put in laws to say, well, if you have X amount of money in the event of your death, 10% of it should go back into the economy, should be taxed. Like that, they're the people that you shouldn't be. These things shouldn't affect people who don't have a lot. I think there should be at least stipulations for someone in the 1% to, your wealth. Some of your wealth should go back into the pot rather than
absolutely.
If you're not already paying tax, with the tax you should be paying because you've been jumping through loopholes your entire life, you at least give something back on the event of your death. But they won't, because that's why they have children.
Well, you could instead of just giving it to the government in general, you could fund it back into healthcare to stop other people from dying. That seems like a much more reasonable use of it than giving it to somebody that really doesn't need it.
Doesn't care. Yeah.
Death tax. Yeah, people hate those death taxes. Okay, and how did the poll come out? What do people think? Posted nothing wrong again. Okay. I don't have a big problem with sort of the death taxes kind of thing, especially if it's a huge amount. I don't know. I just don't have a problem with it.
Well, as far as I'm aware, the estate pays all the tax before dispersal, and you only pay for like capital gains on property. So the logic here is, I think, well, you already paid tax on the estate itself, so why would you tax it again if you're just dispersing liquid assets to the beneficiaries? A death tax on like a very small inheritance, again, I would say, well, okay, death tax to any inheritance over X amount. And so then, like, someone who's only getting $20,000 from a relative, that would be less affected than someone who's getting literal thousands, like billions or close to millions. If you're getting millions of dollars, then maybe I'd say.
Yeah, I just think that's way more than, like, people have more than they could ever possibly spend in their lifetime. If they went out and spent it. Yeah, it's absurd. It really is. At a certain point, it becomes less about what you need to live and more about just showing off to other people who have more money than they could ever spend in a lifetime. And I think that is just so wrong. Like, it's just, I think what really does it for me is that some people's pets live way better than some people out there, and that is just like unacceptable to me. Like, I'm really sorry, but I know you might love your pet ferret or something. If that has a substantially better life than some homeless person on the street, something has gone terribly wrong. Like, something has gone terribly wrong.
That's a society. This is where you have to start blaming, like, well, when's society going to kick in, or when's the government going to kick in and start realizing that the lopsidedness, I don't.
Everybody knows there's something wrong here, especially in the US, and we were talking about this last night. I mean, our healthcare system is not fantastic, but it is like a billion times better than the US system. And when you have like so much money, it spends the most money in the world, and its life expectancy in the US is somewhere down in the 47th or something. Like, it's below some developing countries. Something has gone horribly wrong.
Yep. That you have third world conditions in a first world economy.
Well, and we saw that that Ben Shapiro thing where he basically said, oh, but if your country makes more money, you spend more money, kind of thing. It's got like that does not address the issue in the slightest, and it doesn't address the issue of uninsured people who aren't spending anything because they aren't going to the doctor. So you know, it's so ridiculous. You know,
No. The government should take more responsibility for its people. Like it, and the fact that it's the fact they can do this, but they choose not to because the weapons expenditure, like you look at the defense budget, none of that easily they could prop up a system similar to ours very easily. That's what Bernie and everyone was saying, like it's possible for you to subsidize this medication, it's possible for you to subsidize healthcare. You just don't want to because it's a socialist principle to do so. That's the only reason. It means giving people money that you think they haven't earned, even when they're dying. Like you think, well, that person hasn't contributed enough, therefore they can just, rot and die on the street. Like this disgusting notion.
The United States in life expectancy is beaten by Kuwait and Albania and the Czech Republic and Puerto Rico. Yep, Puerto Rico beats the US on life expectancy. Just saying. Yeah.
Not cool, bro.
Not great. Not great. Oman beats the US on life expectancy.
Where the heck is Oman? I've never heard of that.
It's a Middle Eastern country.
Okay.
Sort of near Kuwait, I believe.
Oh, okay. That's depressing.
Does Kuwait beat them? No, Kuwait beats you as well. Just to let you know. Guadalupe? Where the hell is Guadalupe? I don't know that one. Qatar beats them. Guadalupe. Where the hell is Guadalupe? I don't know where that is.
It's near Mexico.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, off the coast of Mexico.
Yeah, and I mean, it wouldn't be so bad, except, they spend so much money on healthcare and it just gets pumped into these frigging companies to make profit.
Right. Yeah,
that purely goes to profit.
Profit-driven health insurers. Like the absurdity of any insurance being profit-driven at this point. Any insurance, particularly that one, because the Bupa's the company that we've got to
Isn't that British?
I think so, but it's becoming an international conglomerate type thing. They're the ones that are going to really screw the system up if people start going into business with them. So if we start having hospitals sort of start going into business with these companies like they do in the States, that's where the problem's going to be. It's why we need to keep the public system robust enough to deal with that, because if we start going down that road of privatizing everything in health insurance, it's just going to be a nightmare.
Oh, I think the Liberals have suggested at one or more occasions. So if you're unaware, the Liberals in Australia, you're talking about the Conservative Party. It's very strange because Australia is very shifted along to the left from America. So we don't get what some of you guys are doing because it's not a thing over here. It just absolutely is not. But the Liberals have suggested that every time they suggest rolling back Medicare, which is, our Affordable Care Act, basically, they get absolutely lambasted and dragged over the coals. That nobody wants it. Nobody wants it.
No.
And they've done enough damage, in my opinion. So,
which is funny because they kind of invented the current system that we have, that was supposed to the link between private and public health or Medicare. They came up with the system, but it's not a great. They'll be the first to corrupt it if it means shelling out tons through Medicare.
Well, I think they tried to set it up to fail, to be honest with you.
I think a lot of stuff like that they do.
But it didn't, because the Labor Party came in and actually put something in place that worked at least reasonably.
Right.
But I did not know. The more I looked into the US system on the back of this Luigi Mangioloni, situation, the more I was absolutely shocked. Like I was actually shocked. I did not know. Like, you know, people talk about how bad the healthcare system was, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's bad, sure. You know, go on my merry way. The idea that you can be covered for something, like you're covered for it, and because they just delay paying out for it, the person dies, and then they don't have to pay it anymore. That's insane.
Yeah,
That
there's
is
nothing stopping them.
insane.
Yeah,
Like
they make their own rules. Yeah,
I like that would be an outcry over here. That would be,
right.
you know, absolutely people marching in the street, and it's just everyday practice over there.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was, you know, how is that possible?
Well,
I'm naive. I admit it.
Yeah.
I'm totally naive. And
you've let these companies do that for a very long time, and they've got no government intervention. Whereas over here, at least we have a degree of government intervention on how we make the rules within private health. Over there, as far as I'm aware, there's no government. Like I don't know how much Obamacare affected that industry, in terms of rules and stuff like that. And Trump, I don't believe he's going to come up with a plan that's going to benefit anybody but the insurers.
He's tried to repeal Obamacare like twice already, I think, and he's got no plan. I don't know why people
to replace it with
sort
nothing.
I don't know why people are sort of like, well, he's going to fix it with what? We haven't heard anything.
No, because he doesn't.
Anyway, we're getting
works,
way off track.
Way off track. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. It's not your fault. It's definitely my fault. It's just I was shocked, like just shocked.
Yeah, it's stomach churning what they do.
So I mean, I have really mixed feeling. I want to say I do not support any political violence, because once it starts, the other side will do it. It's just but it's very hard to say, well, Luigi Mangione, here's a, you know, I think the only reason we're talking about it is because of him.
Because of what he did.
So yeah, I don't even know if he, like, I finding it hard to say, yeah, he did the wrong thing, even though it definitely is against my principles. I'm in a weird place of, well, if it gets healthcare for millions upon millions of Americans, and they're right. I'm finding it very hard to say that he did the wrong thing. You know, legally, obviously he did. Morally, if he manages to save the lives of so many Americans and improve the lives of millions of Americans, can I actually say that?
Yeah.
It's very hard to. So I'm in a situation where I honestly don't know, because I'd like to say, hey, I never endorse political violence, but, you know, at least the conversation's being had now, and that wouldn't have happened without him. So, you know, oh, Sterling, yeah, I kind of accept that, yes, but, you know, won't it change a thing? I mean, it has changed something. CEOs are now willing to spend a lot more on security.
Right.
It's something, you know, it's kind of, is it going to let them know that, hey, you know, the French Revolution, for instance, it wasn't something that they may not be on the receiving end of. Like, you know, if you push people to a certain limit, that they are going to stop taking it sooner or later, and sort of, you know, the fact that they're getting tons of security for their CEOs, maybe they will think twice. I don't know what's going to happen, but something did change. If only CEOs are actually more worried about their personal health, which is ironic. Yeah, I get you, Iconocry. I really do. I really do. Anyway,
I don't. Yeah. We're doing the next one.
Nat 90. I'll probably make this the last one. We'll make
Yep.
it a bit of a shorter episode. I'm sorry. I'm really
No.
tired, people. I
Yeah,
did not
we've had a funny night last
sleep
night.
well last night. Yeah.
No.
So
Okay.
yeah, I do apologize, but I'm very tired, and I actually was on stream for like all day yesterday. I was over at Skeptic Spin for Pragmatic Crystal. Thank you, Pragmatic Crystal. And I went to Grayson was doing a marathon stream, so I wanted to pop in on that. So I did I was doing a lot yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
Just nothing on my own channel, because apparently I hate myself and am not doing anything on my own channel. So, you know, there's that.
Yeah. So I'll do this one. I think because
Sure.
you did the last one.
Think so.
Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll just do it.
You had a question. Is it relevant to the stream, or is it something else, Tyler? I mean, I think I got an email from you at some point and I responded. I don't. Anyway, just go ahead, sweetie. It's fine.
Okay. Yep. Would I be the asshole for not going to my husband's family's Christmas? Okay. I'm a first responder and have no, I don't think so. Based on the first sentence, I'm a first responder and have
even if you just didn't like my family, that's fine, you know. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay with it. I am a first responder and have been in for the last 3 years. My schedule is a rotating shift pattern, days and nights. Pattern is consistent. I can tell you what days I'm working very far in advance. Because of this, I told my entire family last year I would be working on Christmas this year and reminded them when we saw them. This is the first time I've had to work on Christmas. My side of the family understands, and we're celebrating with just my parents and siblings another day. My husband's family is really into Christmas, like everyone needs to be at their sister-in-law's house at 8 a.m. to open presents. Then we spend the entire day together. So when I asked if we could celebrate together on another day over the holidays, instead it got shut down with statements like Christmas is on December 25th, or I don't understand, can't you just ask for the day off? So I let them know my husband would be attending solo this year. This morning while I was at work, my husband, who works 9 to 5 and enjoying his day off, texted me, "It would be nice if you could come for a couple of hours tomorrow after work." I declined because sister-in-law lives 90 minutes away. That's 3 hours of driving. Yeah, no fair. I would be driving home alone at night with not the best weather. Yep. My job can be very stressful and my social battery is drained by the time I get home, especially on Christmas. Like, people forget how horrible Christmas can be for these people. We already agreed it made more sense for me to stay home and to have him go to his parents' house on Christmas Eve so they could drive over in the morning together. Well, my husband is pissed and thinks I don't want to spend time with his family. He's been sending me passive-aggressive texts all day, trying to guilt trip me. We don't know how much time we have left with my parents. Oh God, don't start that rhetoric. It's working because I feel like I'm letting everyone down, and I don't want his family to think I don't want to spend Christmas with them. You're not the arsehole. Would I be if I'd stuck to our original plan instead of making an effort to go see his family tomorrow after work? Edited for whatever that means. Okay, locked out of commenting from. Okay, locked out of commenting. Okay, so maybe the Reddit was down, and that's why we don't make many posts. That's interesting.
I'm locked out of commenting till January 2nd. Or maybe they're just their commitments. They can't comment until then.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for taking the time to respond. I was really upset last night, and it's nice to get an outsider's perspective. One of the comments is it's not just the date, it's the day, and I'll be using that from now on. A couple of you guessed right. Yes, part of my job is answering 911 calls. My husband mostly understands how our shifts work, but I usually get pushback on long weekend or celebrations. I've been trying to convince him to come in for an observation shift so he can finally understand, but he doesn't feel comfortable listening in on the calls. I haven't confirmed, but I think what may have caused him to even request my parents is that his father, who was in the early stages of dementia, may have asked what time we were both coming over, forgetting I was not coming over. This shift schedule is new to him, and he hates showing up to events without me and having to explain to everyone why I'm not there because I'm working. This is definitely something we're going to have to work on out before we try to have kids. Thanks to everyone, and Merry Christmas, especially to all my fellow first responders, healthcare workers and shift workers, and anyone who's ever had to do 24/7, 365 job.
Yep.
You're 100% not the arsehole. I'm sorry. Like, you've got family are the same. Your brother and whatever, same situation every year. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen for Christmas, so you don't. make plans for that day.
Well, she did. She absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't.
Mhm.
You know who's the arsehole? The husband.
Yeah,
Like,
for not
seriously,
sticking up for her. Yeah.
that is a red flag for me,
Mhm.
quite frankly. If I was
Mhm.
like, and I have done Christmas shifts before,
Mhm.
not like all night and all day
Mhm.
kind of thing. I'm
Mhm.
not 100% sure, but I've definitely been on tech support lines,
Mhm.
internet tech support lines during Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's it. It is what it is, you know, like
Mhm.
you understand, hey,
Mhm.
like you just have to be there for people because that is what your job entails. I
Right.
completely understand.
Yeah.
Completely understand. The whole idea that your significant other is going to a family function and they're
Mhm.
not proud of you for
Right.
being a first fucking responder
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
through
On
Christmas when
Christmas.
people
Yeah.
need you.
Mhm.
I don't know what is wrong with him, quite
I
frankly.
don't.
I would be
It's
so proud of
yeah.
like if you were doing that and
Mhm.
911 calls on Christmas,
Mhm.
I would be so proud of you.
No.
Um,
Yeah,
my
I
mentality
understood
is
you just
different
had
though,
to.
you
Yeah.
know.
No, well, even in my situation, my last job, we didn't shut down over the Christmas break, but everybody just kind of assumed that we would because the people that we worked for, like a lot of companies, like medical companies, shut down for the Christmas break, and some
Sure.
government services do and don't. So if I had to work Christmas Eve, some people were like, "Oh, why are you working Christmas Eve?" Because it's not a public holiday. Well,
Right.
the public holidays over here are Christmas and Boxing Day, and
Correct.
the amount of people in my company, just in the department that I was in, we had to go into a lottery in February to get Christmas leave. And it was
Mm.
also distributed based on whether you'd had leave the previous year. Because that's how some companies some like just corporate companies who are closed on Christmas do have a lot of leave requests around that time. So when you're a first responder and having
Yeah.
shift work, it's again, they've, said well ahead of time, I can't get Christmas leave, like within a year.
Hmm.
Like they've given them ample time. But it's these people who've never had to work on Christmas Day who just assume everything stops on Christmas Day, which is what this family seems to be like. Is, oh, but can't you just, it's Christmas? But it's Christmas. Please, Dawn, it's Christmas. Like 911 people, like emergencies and horrible things
Happen.
don't
Yeah.
take a day off.
People still and probably more often get heart attacks on Christmas. They have,
Right.
aneurysms on Christmas.
Yeah.
People still get into trouble. Crime
Mhm.
still occurs on Christmas. Hate to
Right.
break it to you, but the
Yeah.
miracle of Jesus doesn't
Mhm.
stop people from being assholes for a day. It
Right.
really doesn't. Trust
Yeah.
me on this.
Yeah.
Like in the jobs that I was involved internet still breaks on
Mhm.
Christmas, like
Yep.
it happens.
Businesses are still running. There's still hospitals are still running. Things need to keep
Yep.
running, and
Yep.
things
All
need
of
to
that
keep
stuff.
functioning.
So my brother is a police officer. My sister-in-law is a emergency nurse.
Mhm.
I understand that we have this core of people who sacrifice their holiday in order to help their fellow humans.
Right.
And for your husband to sort of shame you or guilt you for that,
Mhm.
that is not something to guilt if
No.
your significant other is a morally good enough person to sacrifice their Christmas to
Mhm.
help people. Yeah, I mean, we'd all like to be sitting around,
Mhm.
enjoying, with family, enjoying eating and drinking and all of that stuff. She's
Mhm.
instead doing frigging emergency calls. Look,
Yeah. Come on.
emergency calls are so stressful. I cannot
Mhm.
even exaggerate how stressful it is when
Mhm.
you are trying to keep someone alive with the sound of your voice or trying
Mhm.
to get the services to them, find out where they
Mhm.
are and stuff.
Yeah.
I've never done emergency myself, but I have
Mhm.
known people that have, and that
Mhm.
just there's no comparison to
Yeah.
any other kind of phone job than
Yeah.
emergency. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, and the idea that you can just do another 3 hours of driving on top of that, like compromising your mental health because they're like, I'll just come over after then. Like you have to show up on this day or else. It's like, but they've given you very valid reasons as to why that's not going to work for them.
Could you imagine like doing emergency calls and then driving
right
90 minutes to get to the thing? Like,
right, yeah, to be like doing that and
that.
then driving down to our down south like straight after. Like I, like my job, yeah, you could do it after work, that's fine, but not after that. And in unsafe conditions. Like there's a level of like hoop jumping this person has to go through just to show up for a couple of hours because somebody's got dementia. And you can't talk to them like an adult and say, look, no, this person's not coming. Like if you're that uncomfortable explaining to family why your significant other isn't there, like it just happens. Like some people just can't show up for stuff.
I just think this person is awesome, not an arsehole. Like,
right, I would never think that as an arsehole thing to do. And the fact that they've made them question their own moral principles over a day, a single day. Like, what difference does it make if they go the next day? Oh, you just weren't here on Christmas. You have to do it. This notion that it has to be. What's going to happen if you don't celebrate Christmas on Christmas? Like the world's going to end. Like this attitude of, no, we always do this. And this is tradition again getting in the way. This is just putting tradition ahead of practicality.
And of people, you know, like 100% ahead of people. And I get that, your father doesn't, but she's not saying, hey, I don't want to see him. She's just saying, I can't do that day because I have a responsibility to help people. Damn.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's kind of that, well, what do? Do you go and help people that may need emergency services, or do you go and have a Chardonnay with the with the family? Like, seriously, I am so... this is weird. This is so weird. Clover character, I work in the field of emergency services, and the fact is that we as a group are never off duty. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And unless you are going to screw your colleagues and they're going to somehow allow it, you have to take your share of holiday shifts. Yeah, absolutely. Ours basically worked. Basically, we had a rotating shift year to year, people that did the Christmas shift. If you hadn't done the Christmas shift, you were basically first in line to do it, basically. So all of the new people would generally get it because they'd never done one before. And then it sort of rotated who hadn't done it last year generally got the Christmas shift kind of thing. And it rotated through that, or public holidays in general, basically. So, you know, I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't mind doing it. You know, they used, you know, the staff would celebrate together, and there's something about work colleagues that they're not, you know, they're not friends and family, but you do get closer to them than most people in your life. You know, there's sort of a solidarity there, I guess. So you'd celebrate Christmas together, and usually it'd be a quiet day, and it felt really good if you could. Yeah, absolutely. They'd put on food for you, and if you could help somebody, like calling up there, because you'd have people on Christmas like, oh, my internet's gone down and I have to call my grandmother for, you know, to FaceTime or whatever, you know, like the internet's gone. So you'd just be scrambling and to be able to help them was actually a really good feeling. So I didn't mind working that day. You know, I probably would have rather be home, you know, celebrating with family, absolutely, but I didn't mind it so much. Especially, you know, you get extra pay as well. It doesn't hurt either, but you know, you take your share of holiday shifts. Yeah, and rotating shifts it's just a thing. It's just a thing.
If you don't work in the industry, I understand you don't understand, but some people don't have like a 9 to 5 strict schedule, corporate job.
And sometimes in technical jobs, you're on call. So you can't drink, you can't do any of that stuff, and you've got to be prepared to take off. You know, if servers go down, if data centers go down, you've got to just take off. Like, you know, The family, well, can't you stay? No, that's what the job entails. Yeah.
Yep.
I have to fix this.
Right.
My family is completely used to celebrating important occasions with me on the wrong calendar date. OP, I don't know how long you've been with your husband, so maybe the situation is salvageable, but he needs to get with the fucking program yesterday.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Upvote.
Like,
yes, absolutely.
Like
absolutely.
if he's just
this man
tetchy that his family's making him uncomfortable about it, well, that's his problem. That's not her problem.
Oh, get the fuck over it, seriously.
Yeah, like it's going to keep happening unless they change jobs. Like it's great you've got a 9 to 5 with built-in public holiday leave.
I don't know what's wrong with this complete douchebag. Like, I would be so proud of my significant other if they were handling the emergency calls on Christmas. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Doing the Lord's work there. Come on now. I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird. You worked emergency services. I worked emergency services for 35 years. Holidays happen when we can organize them, sometimes not on the actual holiday. Yep. Usually my Christmas was Boxing Day when I was working Christmas. You know, it just was. That's the reality of it. Just my family, my in-laws, they all understood this. It's normal. So many people have military, police, hospital, firefighters, and hospitality jobs that occur 24/7, 365. Your husband needs to realize your career is not like a business, Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 or whatever. You are an important part of society. You are not a dick. You're an important person with an important job. Yeah, absolutely. You are not pushing beans. You're not counting beans. You're saving lives. Your husband needs to get on. Right. You're not doing PowerPoint presentations for the board. You are doing something that helps people. Your husband needs to get on board. It's about you, not his family. Do not feel guilt. Get this issue sorted. If he never understands and is going to be pressured by his family to pressure you, draw that line. You are fine. Thank you for doing the hard work of serving the public. I'm a dispatcher and I have some cuss words if you need them.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not the asshole. Driving 3 hours in the dark after a long shift is not a great idea. Yeah, it's really not.
No.
Look, people, fatigue kills. It absolutely does. At a certain point, fatigue is just as bad as drunk driving.
Right.
100%. If you're tired, if you're nodding off, if you're that fatigued, fucking stop. Like, seriously. It is dangerous. We have signs up everywhere because
we have long roads and people do it all the time.
Really long roads with sort of no real landmarks kind of thing, just bush and flat, plains kind of thing. It's really frigging dangerous. It is really dangerous. Just stop, have a nap, like seriously, have some water. If you can get a coffee, grab one. Please don't drive tired. It is actually dangerous. There is no need to claim you don't want to spend time with his family. They're warned far in advance. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's bullshit. That is really horrible.
I think some people are like, oh, but they'll make an exception for us, or they'll, or they just straight up forgot because they didn't pay any attention. I think people who have staunch traditions are so ignorant of other people's lives. Like it seems like they just all conveniently forgot that this person told you well in advance that you wouldn't be available. And then the husband being all spineless and basically just, I know you're disappointed. I told you I couldn't come ages ago, and I would appreciate if you stopped trying to guilt trip me about something I can't control. Like a guilt tripping person isn't going to make, again, it's resentment. Like you'll show up, you'll be in a bad mood, or you're not going to want to talk to these people because they've kind of, and they're happy you're here, but you feel like crap. Like, and you resent the husband for making you feel this way and compromising your safety effectively because he can't stand up to his parents and say, hey, look, my partner, why isn't he saying, look, they have a very important job and can't you respect that? Like he should be standing up for her, not simping around his family and making her feel bad that she can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like your partner should be understanding of your work. I mean, he accepts that that's what you do for a job. he must accept it or he wouldn't have married you. So
Right.
like, why isn't he advocating for you and what you do for a living?
Yeah.
It's really, really, really strange. And it, to be honest with you, it's a red flag for me. It
Yeah, a
really
few
is.
people
I
have said
don't.
that. Like, that's very off-putting.
Right. It is very off-putting because you're basically going, well, can you change your career path to suit my family? Fucking no.
No.
Like, no. I don't know why I would, quite frankly. I mean, yeah, if it's something that affects directly your family, but I mean, we're talking about an emergency responder. This is absolutely terrible. Oh well. Yeah. Let's see what the peeps have to say. Yeah, Reed saying it's surprising. This is about Luigi. Yeah, it's surprising it doesn't happen more. Yeah, no, I totally get you.
I'm surprised a
Yeah,
lot of
Tyler.
people who run banks haven't been the bank people haven't been mowed down in a Neil Breen-esque psychic attack.
Another time. Yeah, feel free to send me an email as well. I'm sure I responded to your last one. I think I remember it. So, work comes first. Iconocray, work comes first, especially for and secondary responders. Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely does. Does not seem like a healthy marital relationship at all. I would have issues if somebody was doing that to me, even though I would work in IT on Christmas. If someone was saying to their family, yeah, I'll try to, or saying to me, hey, but my family, you know, are you sure you don't, that kind of guilt? No, I would have a problem. And I'm not even a first responder. I would say, hey, people rely on me, and that's part of the job. That's part of my career. That's what I've chosen to do, and this is what it entails. Sometimes I'm on a call during Christmas. Sometimes I have to be on the phones during New Year's. Sometimes, you know, all of this thing happens. It is what it is.
Yeah, like tough. Like it's really one of those just circumstances where you can't change anything.
Sometimes things come with the job. It would be like getting angry at a military person for, you know, going overseas for their job. You know,
Right.
it comes with the job. What are you doing?
Yeah. Like.
You'd be a proverbial saint if then you'd then go for a 9 drive to spend time with them. Yeah, and you probably wouldn't get that much time anyway. I mean, how much after your shift you drive 90 minutes and you have to plan to come back? Spend
But
like
that's not
half an
spending a
hour there or
day.
something?
Yeah, that's
No,
not
it's
spending any
definitely
time. No.
Definitely not. Apologies for the grammar. Watch out, because we do have a grammar fascist in the chat somewhere. I think that's actually you, I kind of crazy. So, you know, make sure you punish yourself. No, don't punish yourself.
It's okay.
Sterling says, come from a family of healthcare workers, a couple of nurses and dad was a doctor. They missed holidays plenty of times. Yeah. We had vacations postponed, but my dad had the patients. He couldn't leave. It's life. Yeah, it sure is, Sterling. Tyler says a lot of people are depressed and need help on Christmas. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And those people doing the mental health lines, you know, if my partner was doing mental health care lines on Christmas and couldn't make the family thing, if my family dared to suggest that they had done anything wrong, I would be all up in their business, quite frankly. I would sort of be how do never say that as they're helping out people who desperately need it. Absolutely. Yeah, draining day, 90 minutes driving is dangerous. Yep, absolutely. Don't drive tired. Sterling says their family sounds quite selfish and out of touch with reality. I do have to agree. It sounds like they've never had somebody in their family who is a shift worker before. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They've never come across this scenario in their life. So they just think it doesn't exist and everybody has Christmas off. That's so myopic and weird.
A family like mine, everybody understands it. Like, there's not one person in the family who goes, well, that's strange. It's just like, no, that is absolutely what happens. Maybe that's because, you know, of the background that my family has had, but Like, there is not one person in my family that would say, hey,
Mhm.
that's weird that you can't make Christmas.
Right.
Totally normal.
Yep.
Totally normal. If people like the demented, I think, I'm not sure demented is the right word there. I can't agree. I think maybe you know, the guy suffering from dementia. I
Mhm.
don't think demented is, maybe it is the right word.
I can't
Need
remember.
emergency medical attention for whatever
Yeah.
reason, they'll be calling her. Yeah.
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 So yeah, you'll only notice
Oh,
it
look,
until you need it. Yeah.
if somebody slices their thumb off with the bread knife for some reason, it
Mhm.
happens. They're going to be
Mhm.
calling her as well. You don't
Yeah.
even need to be
Mhm.
demented
No, to
or
need
have
that
dementia
thing.
to do
Mhm.
that. Yeah. Nurses are generally the same. You work Christmas one year. Yeah. Rotational
Mhm.
shifts. Yeah. No,
Mhm.
Sterling,
It's
totally.
just the industry. Yeah.
Robin says she works every other Christmas. Yeah.
Mhm.
And totally, you know, you're absolutely a good person for doing so.
Yep.
So Deviant says, I see like half a shit ton of red flag. Really? Is that a metric or an empirical shit ton you've got there? With the general family and relationship dynamic there, do I have experiences that inform those red flags? Sure. Is there bias? Sure. Does that invalidate the red flags? No, actually, I don't think so. I think maybe even the opposite, but at least doesn't invalidate them. Yeah, and you're not alone. I'm definitely seeing those red flags, and I didn't get treated like that by my family. I just, yeah.
But they're disappointed, but they don't carry on about it. Like,
well, yeah, it's like, oh, wish you can make it, but totally understand, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
completely understand. And but it's kind of, your family is proud of you for working that day.
yeah,
Like they weren't, they'd save you stuff and hoist off like things to you when you actually
yeah,
got in.
yeah,
You get in at 1 o'clock in the morning, and they're like, oh, we saved you some whatever. It's
yeah.
that's really what should be happening. You don't
Christmas
feel
does
safe
weird thing to
driving home.
people. Christmas, I think, just in general, Christmas affects people's brains way too. Like, if we didn't have Christmas, like, I'm not saying abolish Christmas, but just the notion of it that, and if you,
Um,
it affects people, and so they want these sort of exceptions made because Christmas. That's what I don't like.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that people forget that Christmas is a social construct. I think people
Mhm.
forget that. I mean, if you're talking about the solstice, obviously that is a objective thing that happens, but everything else that we associate with Christmas, it's just a social construct.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, um, our society has moved to a point where there's going to be conflicts with what we do and that social construct. So we
Mm.
have a society where we need people to be present at all times because other members of our little endeavor here get into trouble. And
Mhm.
people want to go, but it's Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
when
and
when Jesus stops people from doing dumb shit on Christmas,
mhm.
then,
Mhm.
or even accidents happening on
Yeah.
Christmas, then
Yeah.
we could do this. But
Yeah,
this
there's no
whole idea,
moratorium on stupidity on Christmas. Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah, or ever. So,
Ever. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Every
yeah,
day's a day.
pretty much, pretty much. Oh, this is great. Imagine calling 911 on Christmas and they'll say, call back tomorrow because they're all at home
Mhm.
having family time. Yeah, you just get
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
recorded message.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
for
gonna
calling 911.
911,
Unfortunately,
unfortunately.
our staff's family wanted them at home.
Mhm.
If you are truly in danger, do feel free to call up and kiss your ass goodbye.
Yep.
Driving home tired. Yep. And
Mhm.
no, Tyler. Look, yeah, but I think that will do it. I'll just get
Mhm.
the end poll. So all of these, yeah, posted. All of these with the posters did nothing wrong. I do admit though, they're all from Christmas because apparently absolutely nobody had any doubt about what they were doing
Mhm.
between Christmas and New Year, apparently.
Mm.
Either that or just everyone's on vacation and really, chilled
Mhm.
the F out, basically, I
Mhm.
guess. So yeah. So yeah, it's all about, people doing nothing wrong this time round.
Mhm. I didn't say anything. I feel bad for people stuck in those situations where they're not being supported by, the one person that should be supporting you. It's sad.
Shouldn't they be happy that they've got a job and doing well and have a
Right.
career and
I
stuff
don't.
like
Yeah.
that?
It's funny. It's that's what I mean. Like just because it's Christmas, it's like, oh, you need to have a job, but then, oh, why is that job keeping you from me? Like that sort of that weird dichotomy of, but you need to have a job, but not in the sense that it's ever going to keep you away from me in terms of the time that you spend, your spare time, like, or any
Either
days.
that, or it could just be a very upper class family. If he's
Right, who's
worked
just
in an
never worked
office,
with working class. Yeah.
right? Like, to me, it's totally normal if a family member can't make Christmas because they have a shift at the police station, or they have to work emergency or whatever. To me, it's totally normal. To somebody who, all their family works in white collar jobs, that everything shuts down for Christmas.
Right.
But it really does show how out of touch you are with the real world.
Right.
You just expect those services to magically appear for you. Like, what is
Right. They've
going
got
on here?
no interest in learning how anything works.
Yeah. Well, that will do it for AIMBOT. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody out there had fun. This has been consensual judging. And again, don't like, we don't know the whole story. We don't know. It's only one person's point of view. So do keep that in mind. Happy New Year, everybody. It looks like a great year so far, but all we've done is AIMBOT, so that has definitely skewed the results there. So yeah, okay. Apparently we're more excited than I first thought. But yeah, let's go. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, take care, everybody. Don't forget
Happy
to
New
be
Year.
kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. And we will see you in the next one.
Yep.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.